Hello, Purple Heart Consciousness holders and our leadership group. I am so happy to be with you all today. And the reason I'm happy to be with you today is that we are simulcasting, and I love that idea of simulcasting, both for our Purple Heart app and with our leadership group today. And it is our tradition on Sunday mornings to come together like this before we go out into the world. And it is our tradition to pray together. We truly embrace the theme, a family that prays together stays together. And for us, as a leadership group, we know that we are all connected. So we're all extended family. And it is important for us to anchor in spiritual practice. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. And the different will be, I've asked two members of our leadership council to share a wisdom quote today. So I'm going to start first with our wonderful Catherine Redmond. And she is going to share a thought or quote from Christian D. Larson. I believe it's from Pathway of the Roses. Hi, Kathy.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Christian D. Larson tells us to promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them that is special.
Thank you, Kathy. And now we are going to hear from our wonderful Patty Walton. I want to call you Patricia today. And I believe her quote is coming from Acts of Faith. Patty?
Morning. Morning, my thought is he'll give you as far as you can see. The quote from the First Church of Deliverance.
Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so we know, and what we can see is that our presence, the presence of God is everywhere. It doesn't matter where the presence of God is. The most important part of this process is our learning how to connect. Yesterday, I was sitting with a member of our group, one of our ambassadors. We were there to support her in sacred service. And she asked a very important question. And that question was, I have some friends and they don't agree with certain words I use. And she said something about her gratitude. And the gratitude, the way it was phrased was, I thank the universe for my blessings. And we actually have people that come from different traditions, and sometimes they say my way is the only way. And what I want to say to everyone is how wonderful for us to be multifaceted and to be able to hear the wisdom from every perspective. Because if God is everywhere, that means that God is in every perspective. If it is an ounce of truth that unifies us, then it is something that we get to rejoice in. So I'm loving these quotes right now. And I'm going to invite you to join me right now as we move into spiritual practice. And I'm going to start, and I'm hearing these words today. Open my eyes that I may see the fullness of truth thou hast for me. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. And I'm hearing these words and I'm exercising my muscle memory. It takes me all the way back to my beginnings when I first started in these teachings, all the way back to Founders Church and just hanging out with Dr. Bill Hornaday. And I remember those words so wonderful. And they still are with me. And so I'm inviting you to just move with me as we move into that place of stillness that our wonderful leader, Catherine Redmond, shared from Christian Larson. And I'm inviting you to breathe with me this morning. And as you're breathing, we're breathing in on the count of 5. And we're exhaling on the count of 5, in our nose and through our mouth. And everything is on the count of 5 so that we can slow down and move into a place of synchronicity, where we can move into a place of coherence. Coherence allows everything to work together for good. So just breathe with me. And I'm inviting you right now to just move into a place of remembrance. And we're exercising this thing called muscle memory. And that memory is that of compassion. The memory is that of kindness. That memory is that of care. Self-care, or perhaps that memory is simply that of deep appreciation. And just breathe. Breathe. And the memory that stands out for me is my beloved grandmother. And growing up, my grandmother was full of unconditional love. She was a woman of faith. She was a woman of strength. And it was so easy to misunderstand her, because I had no idea what they meant. You can be in the world and you can be of the world. And being of the world and in the world had different connotations. And those connotations could mean that you weren't a good girl. You were going to go to hell. And so that was the impression, because that was what my grandmother knew, or the best way she learned how to express her faith. But I remember being a teenager, and grandmother would come to visit and just be with us. And one thing I loved about her and her faith is, I'm very clear, all of my life, that lady has prayed all over me. And she's prayed all over every family member. It was so good that she would decide to come and visit us and stay with us 3 or 4 months at a time. And I remember once her super in the Chicago called because they didn't know what had happened to her and hadn't seen her in a while. Just so happened that she was with us. She was just traveling and doing her work. At that time, they were called missionaries, not ministers, but she had a minister's license. And this particular day, she had washed our clothes, and she had an accident. She accidentally spilled bleach on one of my tops, and I guess I do like clothing, and it was a cute top. And I came home from school and she apologized. And she says, "I'm so sorry." She says, "I'm willing to replace that for you." And that was a wonderful moment in so many ways. I got an opportunity to really see who she was, to move out of the place of judgment. I also had that wonderful opportunity to simply practice forgiveness. So I'm remembering that moment so many years ago. And I am in deep appreciation for that moment and for her mirroring within me humility, teaching me, and also being a powerful leader. Remember your moment and just breathe. And in this very moment, right here, right now, I'm just acknowledging that divine presence, which is everywhere, in everything, within everyone, from every walk of faith, from every perspective, and within every scenario. What I simply know is that that wonderful presence that always has been, always will be, that is here and now in the presence, is anchored right where I am. It is anchored for every single person viewing this prayer, those that are listening and supporting it right now. And what I know is something divine has already gone before and prepared the way. And it is that divine energy of perfect love, perfect peace, that divine presence that anchors itself as the prospering power. And that prospering power is for good. And so I'm knowing that the good that is seeking us and that we are seeking is alive and thriving. It is that divine awakening deep within the resources of our being. And what I'm knowing is that all needs are met this morning. All needs are met this week. And that the presence has already gone before, anchoring itself and blessing itself and fulfilling itself within each and every single person. And what I know is that that wonderful presence is divine light. And that light is the healing factor. That is the divine radiance within our body temples this morning. And what I know is that our bodies, every cell radiates that of wholeness, that it is radiating that of peace and harmony, that the infinite presence has anchored itself, and there is a sacred movement. That sacred movement is the healing presence, and that healing presence is that of wholeness. I know this, and I know that it has informed itself within our beings right now. And as I'm speaking my word this morning, and knowing that this presence is alive here, I know that it is present at every point and reference. It is the radiance within our household, that every nook and cranny is simply blessed, that every particle and every essence is that divine source of infinite good. And I know that that infinite good is divine light, and that divine light is the one and only source, and that one and only source is God in action. And that God in action has fulfilled itself right now within our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with the universe, and those that we love. It is that same energy and vibration that fulfills itself in our way of service in the world. If we are employed, I know that it's in the workplace, within our employers. It is alive within the employees that we work with. We share space with, sacred space. I know that it is on the highways and the byways. I know that that wonderful presence is alive as we volunteer and show up in the world. And I know that that wonderful presence is abundant and overflowing. And that abundance and that overflowing presence reveals itself in an infinite way, in a powerful way. It's alive and thriving within our finances, that we are prospered beyond that which we cannot even imagine. And what I know is that wonderful presence is divine light. It is divine inspiration. It points us forward. It unifies us as a collective. It creates a space and a world that works for everyone. And what I know is that our humanity is lifted up. Our humanity is inspired. And that humanity is the light, the presence, and the divine inspiration that fulfills itself in each and every one of us. It is our place of wholeness. So I'm so grateful this morning for this wonderful blessing, for this wonderful revelation, and for the practical application of these tools that we talk about, and the practical experience that we're moving through in this very moment and beyond. And so it is in this space right here, right now, that I simply release these words into the action of the law, knowing it is perfect and knowing it is good. And if you're in agreement with me, please join me right here and right now by simply saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Yes, Ashe. And for those that have never heard the word Ashe, it is an African term that means, may your words have power. It's the same as Amen, the same as blessed be, and so it shall be. And we are affirming that and knowing that for all of us. So I am inviting you all right now to simply take a moment and just check us out. Go to seedfm.org and see what we have going on. And if you are not on our eBlast list, please subscribe at that website. And if you are on the list, I want you to pay attention to the eBlasts that are coming out. We have open house coming up this week. We're going to be doing a lot of wonderful things, and we're going to be rolling out our plan, highlighting some of the things that are taking place in 2020. So I really appreciate you. I am inviting you to go and download the Purple Heart app if you do not have it. And if you have a prayer request, please go to the app and send in your prayer request. We have a team that's ready to pray with you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm inviting you to have a blessed week. Namaste.